Hey guys, welcome to Plumbing with Tim. Today we're in beautiful little town of Indialantic by the sea. Going to a customer's house to see if we can resolve some of his plumbing issues. So let's go. All right, so today we got called out here because the customer wants us to try to locate where the water main from the meter is coming into the house and install some sort of a shutoff valve for him. It's a crapshoot, but I have a pretty good idea. This house was built in the 60s, and I'm gonna show you how I go about trying to find a water main. It's like a needle in a haystack. Let's go see. So we've located the meter to the house right here, and we've cut it off. I'm gonna show you the trick on some of these old houses, how to find where that water main is coming into the house when it's buried in the ground, where to start looking. Here in Central Florida, one of the biggest things they did back in the 60s when they built these houses is they ran the water main and the sewer line in the same ditch. My trick of usually finding these lines that are buried you can't find is look for a hose bib on the front of the house. That's where you're probably going to end up finding your buried water line as well as the sewer line. Let's check it out. There's a spigot right there. We're going to clear the mulch out. We're going to do some probing and see if that water line's underneath there. Looks like some concrete. There's something there. That looks like, sounds like a sewer line. I bet you that water main's right there in that same line. There's that water main. We got a surprise though. There's a coupling that's going into some sort of gray poly back in there. It's going towards the meter. That's soft copper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to cut it back behind that coupling, get the water out of the system, and then go ahead and try to sweat that old valve off there, and then make some changes and put some adapters in there and bring it up out of the ground in copper. Do you see that? Yeah, that's a little trick that we use down here in Florida. We specialize in these old houses, so I've been doing this for a long time. Most plumbers would come out and they wouldn't have a single clue of how to even go about looking around to find the water main coming into the house, because they don't have a shutoff valve that's elevated above ground. This is how they used to do it back in the 60s. We've located it. My helper's out there right now. He's clearing the area out so we can cut that, and what we're going to do is we're going to bring it up in a loop like this, put a valve, and bring it back down where it services. That way it's above ground and the homeowner can cut the water off without having to go to the meter. See how that's coming out of the house in a funky angle? Yeah, and I don't have any room underneath here to put cutters because that's concrete. What I'm going to try to do is heat this valve up and sweat it off of here. And then we'll put some angled fittings and bring it back up through. We need to make the connection to that pipe as well. All right, so we got the old valve off, and you can see how I had to combat that angle. Put a little 45 and then 90, so everything's gonna be perpendicular coming up out of there. Now we need to connect to that pipe down there and adapt it from plastic over to copper and bring it up, raise it, level it, put a valve in. the install has been completed. Don't like gluing onto that gray piping. I got it in the off position. Partner's heading out to the water meter right now. Cut it on and we'll test it up that point. No leaks. Awesome. In a 1960s house, low and incognito. There was a valve they originally put in, and you saw that. They would have never found that, but we did, because we knew where to start looking. It's all hid behind a bush here. Now he doesn't have to go back to the water meter to cut the water off to the house when he needs to work on something. Awesome. Hey, that's all the time we got for this one. Thanks so much for hanging out and watching the video. That brand new valve is sitting right back there in those bushes. You'd never even know it. That's how I go about finding these hidden water mains that are coming into these older houses. This is built like in the beginning of 1960s. You never know it. It's had a nice remodel and everything. But they never had a reliable way of shutting the water off to the house unless they went to the water meter. So, this being a lesson, especially here in the Florida area. Back in the day in the 60s, you could always usually find a hidden water main by looking for a spigot on the front of the house, because back in the day, they used to bury the water main and the sewer in the same ditch. That's how we found it. Success, came out perfect. Happy customer. Thanks. Until next time, this has been Plumbing with Tim. Keep plumbing.